Hey guys! So today you and I are going to talk about trust and respect. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, I would love to have your take on how a new joiner can build trust and gain respect within a team. I have less than a year of industry experience and have been assigned to a team containing mostly industry veterans. Yet there is not much in the area of technical mentorship as my team members are evangelists, whereas I am one of the two developers in the team. For most development tasks that are assigned to us, we have the complete freedom to build it the way that we want. However, I'm afraid that there are times when our approaches to certain problems might come off as naive. I hope to switch to a development team by the start of next year and get some actual mentorship. And thank you for the videos. You are one mentor that I keep coming back to whenever I feel lost. Oh, thank you. That makes me feel good. Um, as for your question, the the core, at least what I believe, because I mean gaining people's respect and their trust, it can mean many different things. I can just give you what I usually find to be the thing that builds trust and respect. Uh, it's the approach that I use myself when I'm in a new team. It's the approach that I like myself when someone comes to my team, and I've seen it work in other teams as well. I'm not saying that this is a universal, this is the only way you kind of do it thing, but I've seen it many times, and I see it work like over and over. So in my opinion, the way to gain trust and respect in a new team is like that process comes from you engaging within meaningful exchanges of ideas and conversations between yourself and your coworkers. And that's just a fancy way of saying the more you talk and the better you connect with your coworkers, the better. Like that's the thing that is going to get you the trust and the respect. Now, just talking is not enough. What I'm saying here is not that you should just be a chatterbox and just engage with people. There absolutely are people out there who are more social than others, but what I'm trying to grasp at here is that you and your coworkers, you are engaging in an activity where like there is a need for discussing ideas and providing feedback on different concepts and so forth. And the more relevant and valuable your feedback and the ideas that you provide to the group so that they can give you feedback, the better. That's the thing that is going to build that trust and respect, because that means that the people who you are working with, they're going to get a sensation of, oh, okay, this person usually have some good feedback on these things, or these ideas that this person has are pretty cool, or so forth and so forth. They will like you. It's a craft, right? And as a craftsman, you can usually appreciate the skill of somebody else, just as they can they can appreciate your skill, if that makes sense. So you need to reach a point where you can provide useful feedback on their ideas, and in turn provide your own perspective that feels relevant to them. That's basically it. As a junior developer, that can sometimes be hard. Even as a new hire, that is also sometimes hard, especially if you're working on a project where you don't really know the nuts and bolts of everything in the system, right? So what I like to do is that like you still want to engage, but you this is just me. What I like to do is to say that, all right, the less I know about something, the less sure I am, the more humble my approach, the less direct I can be, the less direct I should be. And culturally, that's something we can discuss, because in some cultures, like being direct is like super dangerous, and frustratingly, sometimes some people are like, you can never be direct or be assertive about anything, because it's just simply too many sensitive people, and you always have to go with this approach that like I usually always start off with. And if you want to be safe, this is probably the way to go, and that is to post every single piece of feedback that you have for someone. Usually, if you have an idea on why something works the way it works, or you want to move in a different direction, whatever. Do something along the lines as saying, I see that you are doing blank. Is this the direction we want, or is it possible for us to do blank? So basically what I'm saying here is that when you post your feedback on your coworker's idea, treat it as not something that you are questioning. It's just treat it as pose a humble question where you are engaging them, you're inviting them to elaborate a little bit on why they made these choices rather than a series of choices that you can present. And this is what's beautiful about that, is that this is, at least I experience it this way. It's very rare that somebody takes this as a confrontation or something like that. It's because you're posting like a meaningful, usually question. I mean, this is not just because you do it this way, it doesn't mean that it's meaningful. That's kind of the next part we're going to talk about. But at the very least, you have made sure that you're not being confrontational about questioning somebody's idea, because you're basically just saying, hey, I see that you're doing this thing here, and that's cool. Could you explain why you want to do this thing rather than say these things over here? That's usually pretty fine with people, because that way you communicate that you get clarification on why they're doing the thing that they're doing, and you also get a chance to chime in with your own ideas, and you get feedback on those things as well. And all of a sudden now you have a conversation about these ideas rather than saying that, oh, this thing is bad, you should be doing this thing, if that makes sense. And in my experience, the thing that's the other part to this, just because you approach the feedback part this way doesn't guarantee that you're going to get trust and respect. Because the thing that is the other part of that is to have the one thing that all developers usually, at the very least, respect above all else, and that is skill. If you do, and this is the dangerous part, you do your best, and usually you work with nice people, so it's the way everybody has to start. As a junior developer, the relevancy of a lot of things that you say and do is going to be up for discussion sometimes, but you have to do it, because the more skill you gain, the more relevant your questions are going to be. So if to make an analogy, or rather to give you an example, it's if somebody poses, I don't know, a architectural decision as a pull request or something like that, and you start questioning the way that if they use double quotes or single quotes or something like that. It's sort of relevant, but maybe it's not the heart and soul of what they're trying to show you, if that makes sense. So like the relevancy of the feedback is also a key thing here, and that's the thing that has to do with skill, because usually the better you are at software development, the more senior, at the very least, the easier it will be for you to post relevant feedback. But honestly, guys, by just being humble, posting relevant feedback to the best of your abilities, and you will get more and more relevant. Your questions and thoughts will be more relevant the better you get, and continue your own learning process. You will build skill, you will earn trust, and you will earn respect. And then lastly, I will also say that this process, doing things this way, this will work for most situations, but you should also remember that in some cases you are working with people that are simply too different in terms of like personalities and ideas and so forth from who you are. And you will never gain their respect or their trust, because you are different, or they're douchebags, or there are many things that could be going on there. It's really important that you also kind of figure out if, when you're feeling a lot of negative feedback or like a lot of anxiety and stress because you're not really getting things through or things like that, to understand if it's a personal chemistry issue rather than if you have bad ideas. Because in some cases other developers will make you feel bad about your own ideas, even though it's really not the problem with your ideas. Your ideas are good. It's really just a personality clash that you're experiencing. So what I want you to take away from this is basically that if you want to earn trust and respect, as a new person in a team or so forth as a junior developer, it's really good to remember that software developers respect one thing above all else, and that is skill. And that's not, it's something that's going to come with time. Either you have it or you don't, but you're going to earn it through hard work and continuing your own learning. And trust and respect is usually best built by interacting in a meaningful or engaging in a meaningful conversation with your coworkers. So try to engage with them, try to share ideas with them, give them feedback on their ideas, and take an interest in their lives and what their processes look like and so forth. And whenever you're posting feedback or you want to open up a discussion about something they're doing or so forth, just approach it in a very humble and non-confrontational way and say something like, I see that you want to do this thing here, and that's pretty cool. Could you explain why you're going this direction? Because maybe we could do this thing as well, but I'm not so sure if that is the better approach or if we should stick with your thing. What are your thoughts? So you create a situation where you just compare ideas. You're not saying that one is better than the other. You just wonder what their thoughts are. That's usually a very good way to get a conversation going, and the more of those conversations you can get into, the better. It's going to build a lot of good relationships for you. Have a great day.